How many times have you found yourself short on crucial ingredients? Suddenly, the recipe is ruined, and you can't see a way to recover. Not all hope is lost, though, because the solution may come from a place you never expect. Forget what you've heard about, because this is the most important kitchen hack that no one is talking about in today's edition of How Do I?
Good afternoon, welcome to today's edition of How Do I? I'm your host Hunter, and today we'll be exploring a simple kitchen hack that could save you a trip to the store. I'm sure we all know the feeling of needing one extra egg or just one more cup of flour to complete a recipe. You could run out to the store, but why would you if you got a perfectly good cake sitting there on the counter? In a few easy steps, you could break that cake down to its base ingredients to use however you like. Let's jump right into the kitchen so we can see how the process starts.
First things first, you need to remove the icing from the outside of the cake. The icing can be repurposed, but it's important to have the majority of it removed from the surface of the cake before you begin. I prefer to use a flat, dull tool like this spreader because it slips easily under the icing and lifts away clean. This is about how clean you want your cake to be before going on to step 2.
Now that the prep work is done, the real magic can start. With a few common household tools, we can take the first step towards breaking this cake down. Let's take a look at the next step for the unbaking process.
Here's how we set up for the unbaking. You will need a baking tray, filled with water so the whole bottom of the tray is covered. Next, add a riser to create some elevation above the water. Place a bowl on the riser and break up your cake into thick chunks to place them inside the bowl. You may use smaller or larger pieces as long as they all fit in the bowl. Next, cover that bowl with a larger inverted bowl. This will act as the moisture trap. Put everything into an oven preheated to 425 degrees. The steam will be trapped under the large inverted bowl and begin forcing moisture into the chunks of cake. Over time, this will essentially unbake the cake by re-adding all the moisture that was.
Now this is where we turn the doubters into believers. The unbaking process can be a little hard to trust at first, but when you see the results, any doubt will vanish. As they say, the proof is in the pudding, or in this case, the cake batter. Let's see what the result of our unbaking are.
About an hour later, you can remove everything from the oven. As you can see, there is no water left in the tray. Allow it to cool with the top on for about 10 minutes. Remove the top to reveal a smooth, unbaked cake batter below.
Did he heat that shit? Pretty incredible stuff, but now we are getting into the real nitty-gritty parts of this process. Our next step is removing the eggs from the batter. This requires a special tool, but it's well worth having. Now let's get back to the kitchen to see how it works.
For this step, you will need a mechanical sifter, like this one. Pour your batter into the sifter, over a clean bowl, to catch anything that comes through. As you can see, the sifter will work through and separate the batter. However, eggs are too viscous to fit through the screen of the sifter. After doing the entire bowl of batter, you will be left with just the eggs used to make the cake originally, ready to be used elsewhere.
Cruising right along, we're now focusing on separating the dry ingredients. This is one of the more labor-intensive steps, but can be mastered with ease. Let's see how it's done.
For this step, you will need a fine sieve. Start by pouring your remaining batter into the sieve. Work the liquid parts through the fine mesh. It may take several passes, but eventually you will be left with just the dry ingredients. From there, it is a matter of separating the salt, sugar, and flour from each other using different sized mesh sieves.
It almost seems too good to be true. Just a few more steps before we complete our cake unmaking. Let's round off the process by separating the butter from the milk. Now, this should be good.
Our final step begins with the chocolate milk-like liquid left over from the last sieving. Pour the remaining liquid into a pot on the stovetop. Bring it up to a simmer in order to separate the butter from the milk. After a few minutes, you will start to see the butter rise to the surface of the liquid. Scoop away the liquid butter into a separate container. And there you have it. All your ingredients separated and ready for use.
It's amazing what technology can do today. Never worry about being short on ingredients again with this simple and seamless process for recovering ingredients from your unwanted cakes. I want to thank you for tuning into this edition of How Do I, and have a great day disobeying the laws of physics.